Hey everybody, Tom here, and I'm ready to talk about one of the most perfect level 30 games to come out in a long while. And I know what you're thinking, there's been a sea of games that have come out recently, but Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order, is pretty darn good. Let's check it out. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is a beat-em-up RPG that takes place in the Marvel Universe, bringing together tons of characters from all over, like the Avengers, Guardians, and even X-Men. The roster has 30 characters, with more to come in the form of DLC, so there's a good chance your favorite might be on the way if they're not there already. If you've been out of the gaming loop for a while and got the Switch to get back into it, let's get this out of the way now. No, you don't have to have played the previous games in the series to play this one, so if that was holding you back, let it go. In fact, if you've seen any of the Marvel movies in the last few years, you're still in the loop because this story is very familiar and deals with assembling a team to get to the Infinity Stones before Thanos does. Yes, I know it seems uninspired, and while it is a little disappointing that it treads ground we've been seeing evolve in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, at least it's done well. Actually, it's done very well. The cutscenes are great and very reminiscent of the old Saturday morning cartoons that I grew up watching. The voice acting is superb and actually comes close to the real deal, while the writing is outstanding. It definitely hits that Marvel feel with the comedic bits, and the performance had me laughing out loud at times.
Or any other that a tyrant like Thanos will... Really? Come on, man. I only get to make speeches like that once. Twice a year, tops.
Team Ninja did a great job of making all the characters feel unique and alive in a way that's true to the source material, and because of this, each character has a different way of playing too. You have your brute force characters that deal more damage but may move and hit slower. Range attackers save you from damage but may be a little bit weaker. This really forces you to mix up your team to be best suited for the task at hand, and thankfully, there are lots of opportunities to mix up your team mid-level. For me personally, I stuck with Wolverine not only because he's a favorite of mine, but because he does attacks quickly, and his barrage attack doesn't drain the special meter too quickly either. I kept Thor on my team because he hits hard and one of his specials is ranged. Spidey was usually third because of his ability to attack while swinging, and I usually rotate out the fourth. The only issue with mixing it up is that eventually you get to parts of the game where characters you haven't used yet or as much are severely underleveled. For example, I neglected Iron Man for so long it was silly to even consider putting him in late in the game. I guess the idea is to replay the levels to build them up, or just start a new game with a different team. You can quickly gain XP to jump levels with secret collectibles, but those are valuable resources you may not want to spend on a character you're just looking to try out. It's pretty freaking cool that each character plays different. They could have taken the easy way out and made the movesets the same with simple palette swaps, but the attention to detail here is awesome and it shows. The gameplay from moment to moment is good, but in a way that just crosses the line into good, as it's far from great. It's easy to pass this off as a button masher, and while that's true a little bit, especially on the easier difficulty, there is some tact needed to make it through wave after wave of enemies. While most levels move you from one fighting area to the next, there is the occasional light puzzle to break it up. These amount to moving a statue on a platform or finding the right combination of switches to flick. They aren't challenging, but at least they mix up the pace a little bit. The boss fights are the real winners here and take some strategy to defeat. The biggest obstacle you'll face, however, is the camera. It's fine at times, but frustrating in others, and gets especially worse when you have levels that take place in tight corridors inside. In fact, there were actually times I was running down a hall and couldn't see the character I was controlling. It's kind of something I accepted going into the game, as it's prevalent in this style of game, but I do wish it was a little bit better. The game allows you to jump to a closer view when playing solo to be more focused on your selected character, but I actually found this view to be less helpful as I wasn't able to see more of the battlefield. There are RPG elements too, but they are oddly confusing in that while they give the illusion of progression, the stat increases are so minuscule that you really won't notice a difference in playing the game. Spending currency and gems on a 2% increase in resilience doesn't really show on screen much different, especially as the enemies you face get tougher and tougher as the game goes on. The individual moves you can unlock when characters get to level 10, 15, and 20 can also be upgraded in their effectiveness, but beyond that, there's not much more you can unlock. If you're looking for deep leveling mechanics, this isn't the game for you, but for the level 30 gamer, I think that's kind of a plus. I said in the intro that this is the perfect level 30 game, even with some of the issues I mentioned earlier. The game screams fan service, and it is fun to play even if the camera hinders you from time to time. There is something awesome about having all these comic book heroes and villains in one game, and all the Marvel charm lasts the duration of the 12 to 15 hour campaign. Pick up and play is great, as is drop in, drop out co-op, so playing locally is super fun with 4 on the couch yelling stuff trying to stay organized. I played most of the game solo and still enjoyed it immensely. I loved it being on the shorter side too, which means I was able to get through it along with being able to rationalize a few extra playthroughs just to try out other characters. RPG-wise, it's nothing special, but I do like the illusion it gives you of depth as well as feeling a sense of progression, so I actually felt rewarded as I was playing through everything. Yes, the camera is bad, but the cinematics and voice acting is great, the Marvel humor stays strong throughout, and the gameplay is just complex enough to not get boring. I understand if you're bogged down with lots to play lately, but if you're looking for a good local and online multiplayer game, something you can probably finish relatively simply, or are just a huge Marvel fan, this game is strongly recommended. Well, that's it for this review of Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3: The Black Order. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are. Who is your hero loadout? I'd love to hear. Until next time, I'll see you in the next level.